Hello, my name's Dr. Mike Scanlon. Some of you might already know me, and if you don't, a big hello, especially during these COVID-19 times. And today's short film is introducing you to a approach that we call positive data recording, and it's sometimes called positive data journaling. And it comes from the School of Positive Psychology, and it's used quite a lot in cognitive behavioral therapy as well. The idea of today's film is that as we're spending longer and longer in various different stages of social isolation and lockdown, we are beginning to recognize in a great many people that we're seeing that there's some very strange phenomena taking place whereby people are almost stuck only hearing negativity, bad news, scary stuff, and sadness. Now, what we don't want to do is pretend that the world out there is hunky-dory and everything's fine, because we know it isn't. But we do need to recognize the need and the importance of ensuring that our brain is taking every opportunity that we can to actually focus on the stuff that is meaningful, does bring us a sense of achievement, does make us smile, does make us recognize that we're loved, does bring us closer to the human being that we want to be. And one way to do that is via positive data recording. And it's just so simple and it works, it really, really works. And most recently, I remember sharing this idea of positive data recording with a client friend of mine, and a client and a friend of mine. I think you can have that because once we're in therapy, we have a very friendly relationship, and I think that's how it should be. And what we did was I explained to him this positive data recording, and he had been very, very depressed for some time. And he said, Mike, but something that simple, how could that possibly help? And I explained to him that actually the way the brain works is that if we are only ever focusing on that which brings us down, that makes us feel low, that makes us feel depressed, then we do get into a place of struggle. However, when we start to deliberately and on purpose, mindfully, take our gaze and find stuff in our lives and connect with it and log it and think about it and actually feel that sense of positivity, it starts to build that mindful muscle, but it also starts to work at a very basic neurological level to increase happiness. And, there's a very good evidence base, a burgeoning evidence base for these sorts of approaches because they actually work. So this is what you do. You find yourself a book, and preferably we do this with proper writing, not on the computer. Works better if we write it into a book. And we sit down and we think about 3 areas of our life which might be responsible for positive happenings. So this isn't positive thinking. We're looking for actual positive happenings. And we're working retrospectively. That means, I suppose, that we're interested in recalling positive things that have happened earlier in the day or perhaps yesterday. So once we've got our book, what we do is we say, okay, so there are 3 areas of my life, and the new must do, with a gentle smile, is I need to record 3 positive happenings in these 3 areas of my life. So you might choose friends, you might choose your home, 3 positive happenings to do with friends, 3 positive happenings to do with your home, and 3 positive happenings to do with my garden. Let's just take that, and nature. So we take those, and you can choose whichever 3 domains of your life that feel that they matter to you. So I chose ones that are really important to me. You know, my friends, my home, and nature. And I'm going to put a fourth one in because we're allowed to have as many as we like, but four's about the top. And I'm going to say my family as well, the people that I live with. And then what we do is each day at perhaps maybe 5 or 6 o'clock, we gift ourselves 30 minutes, 20 minutes, you choose, but not much more than that really. And we sit down and we get ourselves a cup of tea and we say, right, now, what's happened today that was positive in my life? First of all, let's go to the first domain. So I might think about my family. And we're not looking for great, big, huge shifts. We're just looking for little tiny moments of positivity. You know, I remember made my wife a cup of tea this morning. And when I handed it over to her, she smiled and thanked me. Yeah, that was nice. And so what we do is we write it down. As we write what happened, Mrs. Scanlon had a cup of tea with me this morning and she smiled. And then I say, gosh, how did that make me feel? How does that make me feel even? To recall that, yeah, that was a nice moment. There was love there. That was okay. And then I say, where do I feel that positivity of that moment in my body? And I go look for it. Just a little bit there in my heart. And then I write that down. What happened, how it made me feel, and where I currently, right now, feel it in my body. And then I say, right, I need another positive happening today from the garden. So I had my breakfast outside in the garden this morning, listening to the bird song. Okay. And so I write that down. How did it make me feel? Well, it made me feel good to be alive, actually. So I write, good to be alive. And right now, if I connect with that memory, where do I feel that in my body? In my smile. I feel it there. And so that's the process. And we write down each day 3 positive happenings from those 3 domains of our life, or 4 domains of our life. So really, we're just writing 4 accounts. What happened, how it made me feel, and where I feel it in my body. Now, what happens after a couple of days is that something changes at a neurological level in our brains. And we find that we wake up and start looking for things to put in my book. We start going towards and finding positivity. And as long as we're doing it every day, that psychological shift happens 2 or 3 days in. And now that's where our brain is beginning to work differently, more effectively. So even amidst everything that's happening during these difficult times, our job is to find, doesn't need to be great, big, huge happenings, just the little happenings each day that are responsible for meaning, pleasure, achievement, joy, happiness, or maybe just a smile. And you'll see on the slide there, I've put the link for Action for Happiness there. And you can find lots of hints to help you with your positive data recording on the Action for Happiness website. So have a go, and you know, it'd be great on the comments section of YouTube if you can let me know, because I go on and have a look at those comments section and let me know how this is helping and how you're doing with your positive data recording. So thank you very much for listening and sharing this with me today. And let's record some positive data.